get some perspective on two very different stories of the police from Dana Perino and Juan Williams, co-hosts of The Five. They are in New York tonight. Juan, your thoughts on the action by the Justice Department in Chicago and what Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, said today?
Well, I think, given that what happened is now replicated in Baltimore. Yesterday they had a report on a consent decree of sorts coming out of Baltimore given the trouble they've had there, and now today Chicago. You can see a pattern in the last few days of the Obama administration where they're trying to force the hand of change in terms of the relationship between the black community and police departments nationwide. And today the mayor in Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, said it's unlikely that the new incoming Trump administration will make any difference in terms of what the city is willing to agree to with the Justice Department.
Dana, you look at the crime statistics between 2016 and 2015 in Chicago, and you had homicides up 57%, 762 in 2016. Shooting incidents up 46%, shooting victims up 48%. The situation in Chicago for the past year and several months, really, has been pretty dangerous, to say the least.
Well, it's tragic, unfortunate, and it's putting, you have the people of Chicago, and you heard the Department of Justice, Loretta Lynch, Attorney General, trying to explain that these people feel like they have been victimized, and that, in fact, the Justice Department says that their constitutional rights had been violated for years. So you can't undo that report, right? The community believes that, and yet you have the police officer and the superintendent, the former superintendent, saying that nobody ever called him, like he wasn't even consulted. And I guess you could try to figure that out and actually produce some records to see if that's true. But moving forward, I think that this is actually an opportunity for both sides. I think that the police are saying we either need more resources and we need more support from the city, and they also have to have some sort of a way to have interdiction with the gang activity, because the nub of this gets down to that, and the gun violence goes straight back to gang activity that we've seen in other cities in the past that have been able to get on top of it. And so perhaps the Justice Department, working with the city of Chicago and, as Juan points out, Baltimore, can get a handle on things.
Yeah, Juan, I guess critics say that the Obama administration doesn't tend to side automatically with law enforcement and tends to go the other way. Obviously, there are egregious acts, and there are a number of different things that happen around the country, but they had a broad investigation of these police departments.
Right, and in fact, Jeff Sessions, the senator from Alabama, who's the nominee to be Attorney General, has said that he thinks there needs to be support from the federal government for police officers nationwide, and worries about the fact that the Obama administration's efforts might convey the message that there's a lack of support. I think there's several things going on here that intersect. One, of course, is race. We've been touching on this indirectly, but the reality is that there's a very high level of segregation, if not the highest level of racial segregation in the city of Chicago, in the entire country. So, Brett, when you think about this, you think about higher levels of poverty. I think it's twice the level or 3 times the level in Chicago. Unemployment, definitely 3 times the level in Chicago, black to white. And you think about young people. Dana's talking about the gangs. When they, in this report, it indicated that 83% of the occasions of excessive use or allegations of excessive use of force by police were against young black people, 14% against young Latinos. So you see what a difference. White people have one experience with the police department in a city like Chicago. Young blacks and Latinos especially, but also in general, that population, a very different experience. And I think that's what we're seeing in terms of the politics, the kind of rhetoric we hear coming from Jeff Sessions as he becomes Attorney General versus the Obama administration.
But you know, Juan, let me just ask you this. If President Trump, when he becomes president, suddenly focuses on those inner cities, talks about the economic opportunities that should be there, steps up law enforcement, they become safer, taps Steve Harvey, who was at Trump Tower today, to work with Ben Carson in the inner cities, does that change the dynamic in this whole perception?
Perception is going to be difficult to change because I think it's going to take some time. But what you just pointed out to me is a reason to be optimistic, and there's not much optimism right now. Obviously, most of the minority community did not vote for Donald Trump. But to my mind, what you're talking about, the Steve Harvey visit, something like Ben Carson talking about getting people jobs and better housing, that's really systemic, concrete change, and I think it could breed a different relationship. I think, you know, so many of these young people, if you give them opportunity, you know, they want the American dream. I don't think there's any lack of belief in America as a land of opportunity in the minority communities in our country. And so to get them away from what Dana was talking about, the gang life or the thug life, and instead focus on the upward ladder of mobility, that would be a gift from Donald Trump.
All right, Dana, I have some breaking news here. The Office of the Architect of the Capitol is going to remove the Pigs police painting Tuesday. Fox News is told that Stephen Ayers, the architect, reviewed a letter and is from a congressman, and he's determined the painting violates the House Building Commission's rules. It'll be removed Tuesday after the federal holiday. And of course, this is the painting you're looking at here depicting police officers as pigs.
Really? They have to wait until Tuesday? I mean, it seems to me if you make a determination like that, it shouldn't be that hard to go down and remove the paint if that's the ruling. I thought the First Amendment defense by Congressman Lacey was a strong one, and I think we're talking about an artistic depiction of from a young person of something that we've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about, which is an unfortunate perception by young black people that the police are against them, and then a partisanship that has run across both sides of the aisle, saying that the Republicans trying to claim that they're more for police and Democrats saying, well, we're more for the people, but we're not against the police. I actually think that Donald Trump has a really good opportunity here with a clean slate. I don't think that he'll do too much different with these two agreements, but try to reset, if I could use that, the unfortunate term that Hillary Clinton used with the reset with Russia, but reset some expectations and give young people some hope.
Dana and Juan, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brett.